Okay, Dennis Young here, podcast series two. Special guest Justin Ortiz, alias The Fly, is here today. And Justin is a composer, writer, uh, experimental artist, also a great guitar technician, fixing guitars, and a whole lot more. Plus, he calls himself Boy vs. Ghost on Bandcamp and a whole lot more. Justin, nice seeing you.
Thank you for having me.
There you go. And I saw this your particular fly uh, head on at the last show we did at the Ragtag Lounge. It was quite interesting.
That was a wonderful.
You had some very unique sounds happening, and it was quite unique for sure. And so I'll have to ask you how you came up with this idea for the fly.
So, before I want to say, despite the way I love the
Okay. Oh, okay. And when you do your live shows, do you have the fly headset on, the mask?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So you're in disguise then when you do your shows.
it's a different
That's great.
world.
Oh, okay. And so are you doing more shows with in the future with this particular type of costume?
Yeah,
Okay.
August 17th at Queens in
Okay.
Paris.
Oh, okay. And so I guess we could start with your background of how you started music and what were some of your influences.
So, I'm going to take the mask off now.
Right. And there he is. Ah, great.
It's time.
That was fun. That
It
was
is
good.
too hot for that. It's normally too hot for
Yeah.
that, but today is I'm
Yeah,
on
I
the second
imagine,
floor.
especially if you do a concert. So,
Uh
but anyway, so
I want to sorry I
what
didn't
was
answer any of your questions so far, but
that's okay. No problem. So, how did you get started with music? What was some of your early influences?
in general music,
Well, how you got interested in did you start off as a drummer, guitarist? Was there any particular instrument that you started
oh
with?
sure. I'm an artist
Oh, I like that
by
shirt.
I'm a oh thank you.
That's great.
We'll talk about him in a minute. Um
Okay.
yeah, I started out as a visual artist at a very young
Oh,
age.
okay.
But I grew up in a family of musicians. So I grew up with a drummer, a guitar player, a singer, a couple singers, and a couple of visual artists. So
Oh, okay.
I'm still a visual artist. I still do all the artwork for all the projects I do and yada yada. But I started out as a drummer. I played drums in
Okay.
concert band for about 7 years, 8 years. Moved on to drum kit and was in my first band in 1996. I was singing lead vocals and playing drums, and out of necessity because no one else
Okay.
felt like singing. And um,
That's something.
and then there was a couple of times I just was talking about this recently with my dad. I said there was a couple of times when he reminded me he was teaching my sister guitar, and there
Right.
was a nylon string guitar hanging around the house because he had his guitars that were worth money kind of stowed away, and the one that was just kind of hanging around the house, I had my eye on it, and I would kind of pick it up and I would play these not lead lines but melody lines. And
Okay.
one time that we had a song that needed a part, and I started figuring it out, and then from there on, I said, "Oh, I think I know how to do this." I watched my dad enough. I watched everyone else play enough, and so it was a kind of then it was like a 50-50 thing. I still liked playing drums, but I met better musicians and I met better drummers, and I kind of went to guitar because I was already singing. I was always the one who sang in all the bands.
Right.
And
Huh.
I was younger. I was younger than all the people I ever played with. I was always
How about
jumping
that?
between bands. I would play bass, I'd play guitar, I'd play drums, I'd play really whatever was needed because the best feeling back then, I mean, this is like I'm like 12, 13, 14 years old, was just going out and playing these shows that I probably wasn't old enough to get into the venues or wasn't probably even allowed to get in.
Right.
But because I was in the band, I was allowed to be there. And we're talking mid late 90s, so it was a fun time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, were these cover groups or the original music? What was it? What was the type of music?
Typically cover with the token original or few thrown in. Yeah. Like we'd be playing like Social Distortion and Nirvana and Black Sabbath and all, like just an array of music, and then we would say,
Right.
"Here's our song. It's called Big Bad Wolf," and it would be like 2 notes in drop D, and it had a breakdown. And
How about that?
it was just, yeah. I remember we used to play the Cove in Roosevelt Park.
Oh, okay.
That was
Oh, I know that. I've heard of that place.
that was our stomping ground. Yeah, that place was
How
there.
about that?
Oh my goodness, we played there the entirety that I knew of its existence. That was my stomping ground. That was also
And
an all ages.
drums are good. Oh, okay. I didn't know
That was an
that.
all ages spot, yeah, which helped.
And you know, drumming has a good background. If you play the drums, you have a good sense of rhythm, and that's always a basis of the rest of the instruments you're going to play. So if you
Yeah.
start off as a drummer, it seems like you have that rhythm in you because some people just can't get, they don't have rhythm in them. I've played with those that just can't find the beat or just can't. I mean, not even naturally or even offbeat. It's just they just don't have it in them. But it's a good thing you got that background and you did a lot of shows. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's out there. I have friends that over the years would invite me along to jam, and although I play lead guitar, I'm very much, I guess, considered like a lead guitar player, melody minded, and because I went through like so many phases. I played classical guitar when I was younger, played in so many metal bands, influenced by like Metallica, Slayer, like all these crazy guitar bands, and then was always into punk also, and
Right.
gothic music and all this other stuff. But like being such a guitar player, and I fix guitars for a living, and I do. Somebody called me the most guitar person they know recently. I thought that was very funny.
Well,
although that's what's pinned. Anytime there's a jam, and you saw me on stage the other day doing this. Anytime there's a jam, I want to be on bass or drums. I like the rhythm. I like observing, and I like letting other people showcase and show off their. I don't know. I'm not like melodiously courageous, like not really brave melody wise. A lot of times, like I'll work on melodies, but not on the spur. So I'd like to sit back and let other people take over, and like I'll provide a solid. So that's why it was really fun sitting behind you at that show. Like,
yeah, well, that was great. I mean, it was a fun show. I mean, I really loved it. I mean, Ray's band was really tight that night, and I know Ray's music so well. I've been playing with him for a number of years now, so it was really fun. And the drummer was really good, Craig. So we had a tight rhythm section.
That was so much fun. I would really like to do that again.
And really, you did a great job also fixing my guitar. I got to tell you, I had that acoustic guitar, that Yamaha, and it never worked right. You know, I never could plug it in direct for a while. And then Ray told me that you're also an expert at that. And I think you've fixed some of his guitars, right, Ray's?
Oh, plenty of them. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a big collection.
He has that Court Effector, that Explorer-looking guitar with all those.
Oh, that's a neat guitar. With all those buttons there, that is a rarity.
That thing is funny, but it feels nice. It's a nice playing guitar.
Yeah, he bought that on Ludlow Street in New York. There used to be a guitar store there, and they had a lot of neat stuff. Yeah, they had a lot of great stuff, and so that was. So you put out a lot of records I see on Bandcamp, and I heard some of them were real. I've listened to some of them. They have a blend of like heavy metal, some punk in it, and then your latest one is kind of folky a little bit, but still has that edge, which
So
I
this is Boy
like.
vs. Ghost. So this is Boy vs. Ghost. Yeah. Um, yeah, good place to transition to. Yeah, Boy vs. Ghost was a project I started in 2005. I was in a band
Okay,
at the time. I was in a touring band at the time who was signed to a hardcore label. We were not a hardcore band,
okay,
and the band was called Bedlight for Blue Eyes. It was a kind of like pop rock met emo met alternative rock and with a little bit of metal influence and stuff. It was kind of like I don't know. There's a lot of influences that, but I left that band to start Boy vs. Ghost, uh, which is almost 20 years ago. Yeah, and
mm,
in those 20 years, it started out as like I wanted it to be a vintage rock project. I wanted to like bring back sounds from the past, kind of be a little bit of like a retro futurist kind of like approach where like
right.
you take the best of the past and mix it with the new. And I always like, I don't know, my thing was always kind of like Nirvana, Black Sabbath, and Pink Floyd. Like I wanted to mesh those
Oh,
three.
okay.
And so it
Mm,
was like 60s, a little 70s, then 90s. And then as the years went on, just started getting more and more influenced by other artists. And then those artists started shining through. And then I'm listening to like more of the Birds, and I'm listening to like a lot of Nick Cave, and I'm listening to a lot, and it just shows in the music. So like whatever I'm listening to
yeah,
like
it
shows
does.
in the albums. Yeah.
I love that song "Molded Peach." That is Peaches.
Oh,
That is a great song.
thank you.
That is really good. And
Thank you.
I could see the Nick Cave type of influence on that, and but you add your own sound to it. That's what's nice. And
That
now I
yeah, that
noticed
last
your lot. Go ahead.
I don't know, I was gonna say that last record you mentioned how like there's heavy stuff and then there's this kind of like landed on a folk album. That's the ninth record I put out. I kind of said I was gonna take a break doing records for a while because um
Right,
I had wanted to do a softer record for a while because I was getting heavier and heavier. And
right.
that last record I wanted to use I had a goal at one point which was to use as little electric guitar as possible. Because like I said,
Oh, okay.
such a guitar guy. And I said if I could
Right,
do a whole record of like Mellotron and keyboards and synths and acoustic guitars and just other sounds to carry the ideas, and that was what
right,
that
right.
record was set out to be. And it was a kind of like a fairy tale like love story also. And that song was really funny because I wrote it in the midst of like um a kind of like a kind of like a situation that didn't come to life, and it was like kind of like a sad sack story. But the ending ends with this like uplifting kind of like knee kick dance, kind of like da,
Hmm,
da, ba, da, 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 ba, ba, da,
right,
ba,
right.
da. And it had this like cadence that kind of like, so it was experimenting with a lot. Oh, on that record, I dedicated that record to Lee Hazelwood. That was one of my biggest
Oh, how
influence at the
about that?
time.
Hmm.
Lee, who used to write with Nancy Sinatra and all them, and yeah, that was like Nick Cave. I remember listening to and thinking, yeah, the lower register voice, uh,
Hmm.
literally and obviously resonates with me, and I thought that it was time to kind of like go there.
Well, it's good you're able to change styles too. I mean, I do that myself because then it keeps
Yeah,
it interesting. Then you're able
absolutely.
to, find different avenues to create music with. And if you have the talent to do it, so you're able to, you have all the, plus you have a lot of great, the devices you were using were pretty neat. Now, what do you use for a live show? What kind of, I saw you had a whole range. You have a laptop, right? And you had, did you have, it looks like you had like effect boxes, your guitar. Is that your
Yeah.
standard setup?
Well, for Boy versus Ghost, um I use a lot of guitar pedals and then two loopers because I'm the only guitar player. So I use
Right.
drones. I use drones and samples from
Hmm.
movies and like spoken word stuff. I have a bunch of echo boxes. I just recently got a tape echo, so I try to
Oh,
use that,
nice.
incorporate that. But for Microscopic Death, I the laptop is actually just a visual reference for.
Okay.
I guess I can say this. It's the lyrics. There's
Oh, okay.
there's
That
some
makes
like
sense.
I have the lyrics there just so I can tell. There's some like really really fast runs that and I can see through the mask, which is helpful. But the laptop is there as a visual aid to run through all the songs in a
Got it.
certain fashion. But the effects boxes are they're right over here. It's a pitch
They're pretty
shifter, so
neat.
I have the pitch shifter for the fly voice. There's a filter box, a distortion, a couple echoes, and like a reverb and a flanger. But
Do you use a looper too? Do you loop sounds also? Like that's always
so
neat to do.
yeah, so the whole set, other than what I'm doing, other than what you see me doing, the whole set
Right.
is in a looper. So basically,
How about that?
it's like a karaoke. It's
How about that? That's pretty
yeah,
neat. That's
it's like a karaoke at a prom in the '60s. Like that's what it's supposed to sound.
what's nice
Um,
about the laptop. It's not a teleprompter, so you know when you're looking at it, you're thinking, "Wow, this guy's coming up with a lot of great sounds on there." You don't know because you keep it a mystery. You've got the the the,
it's
the fly hat helmet on. You got all this happening. It's pretty neat.
it's very self-contained. I think if there was any more, it's all going into a mixer, and the mixer has a
Right.
blend of some effects coming in and out. And I basically under the fly mask is a pair of headphones, so those are my monitors. So every time I play live,
Oh, how about that? I
I
didn't
tell
know
the
that.
sound guy kill the monitor because this is all I'm hearing, which is funny because I've done it. I've done Microscopic Death 3 times live, and none of the times I can hear how it's being received. So I just assume that everyone's either weirded out or went to the bar. And I just kind
How
of
about
go,
that?
all right, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. It's only 17 minutes long, but it feels like 45 minutes. And we're going to get through this. But meanwhile, there's like people out there laughing and cheering and
Yeah.
all this. And
Well,
it's
you were
very funny.
great. The lab, it was great at the Ragtag Lounge. Everybody was just trying to act different and unusual, but everybody
Yeah,
had a unique act that night.
I love that night so
That's what
much.
made it so
Yeah.
much fun.
hmm hmm
So, do you play in other bands too, or is this just you're just doing solo, this solo project that you do?
There's just one other band. I do Boy vs. Ghost. I've been doing that for 20 years. I play guitar. I have a
Okay.
bass player and drummer. And then Microscopic Death is just me, and I'm in a band called Stay Dead with my girlfriend partner, and
Oh, okay.
she plays guitar and sings, and I play drums and sing.
Oh,
And
that's neat. And what kind of music
origin,
is this? Is it?
it's polka kind of punk, and
That's unusual.
there's a lot
Polka.
of waltzes. Yeah, she plays accordion, but she doesn't play accordion in the band. We have a couple songs that are completely like using our mouths and a cappella, and it's mostly punk rock. It's mostly punk rock, but with a little bit of waltzing and like cabaret kind of like polka kind of influences going on.
Hmm.
But that band originally, Nikki, who's an extraordinary singer,
Hmm.
she laid down harmonies on the recordings, and I was trying to do the harmonies using the pitch shifter I use for the fly. And so
Right. Oh,
so
wow. That sounds neat.
I originally brought that vocal board out as the drummer to try to, like, I would add other effects too, but when she'd be singing I would do the pitch shifter up and try to
Oh,
would
lost you there a minute.
oh,
There, you're back.
I would just try to use the pitch shifter to make those vocals happen live. But either way, so Stay Dead, Microscopic Death, and Boy vs. Ghost.
Now, do you have records out with this band? I mean, where can we find that? Is that also on Bandcamp, or do you have if you've recorded
Yeah. We just played a
records
show
on
this
that?
past weekend. I left the merch box in the car. But yeah,
Okay, that's okay.
Stay Dead and Microscopic Death both have cassettes and CDs. These are Microscopic Death
Oh,
CD
look at that.
cassette. And in a very utilitarian fashion, Microscopic Death tapes and the Stay Dead tapes are the same tapes because it's the same length, which is really helpful.
Okay.
when you're buying multiples.
Now, are people buying?
It's the same. It's the same physical cassette, not the same music.
Do you find they're buying more cassettes these days at your shows, or are they just buying CDs, or are they just downloading most of your music?
I'm going to
That's a
answer, and then I
good
have a
question for
question.
you.
Same question. I want to ask you as well too, because I know you guys release a lot of physical media. I've been finding, maybe it's just where I'm playing at the locations, about 50-50,
How about that?
which I'm very happy about.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to
What
sell.
about you guys?
Well, we haven't had much luck selling anything except at the shows, and I haven't
Right.
not been able to. I've Bandcamp occasionally somebody will download something, but I put out
Same.
CDs in the past. Some have sold, some nothing.
What
So
about
it's a
cassettes?
fickle audience. Not much. No, I put some.
Okay.
I put a cassette out on. I had a cassette out on Gertrude Tapes. They're like a weird label out in the Midwest, and I don't know how they did. But I'm usually one and done with these record labels. I put out something and that's it. They disappear.
I got you.
So from now on, I'm just gonna put things on Bandcamp, and maybe I'll put a CD out. But Ray continues to put out, tries to put out CDs, with Primitive Substance, and I don't know. We've been working on some music for a while and new music, so we'll see what happens
I
with
find
that.
this, and I think this is something that a lot of people are doing already, and I forget to go the extra step sometimes, but it's very, very helpful. I think people still
Okay.
want CDs. I think they still want CDs. People are
Yeah.
wanting cassettes because they're the digital. I'm sorry, the vintage media and cassette players are coming back, and I've been doing cassettes because
Okay.
I've always just liked the packaging of them. But I think it is very helpful to include a download, a piece of
I
download,
agree.
so that you can go to Bandcamp and download the stuff free. So you buy this, $10, whatever, and then go online and download it, and then that's free. And I think
Well,
that
what was
that's
nice, that's a great idea because I had a cassette out a few years back on this label, and that's what they did. They put a little piece of strip of paper in there saying where you could go to Bandcamp and
give you
download
the
the
code.
record.
Yeah, I
Right,
think
code.
I've done that
That's a
in the
great
past.
idea.
I haven't been doing that recently, but I have done that in the past. But I've been noticing, yeah, I also got to charge enough for these. I was been selling these for, I just upped the price. I was selling them for $5. They went up to 10 because the cassette is about 3 and
Okay.
change to just cost price. So it's like
Yeah.
you're not making any money. But I
Yeah,
find
I
that
don't know
people are
how many
buying
are
them.
playing them, but how about that? Because I thought
Yeah,
maybe they would just buy them to have a physical copy of your music. Maybe they're not playing them or just
no,
have it available just to say, hey, I got a physical product here. But I guess if they have cassette players now, they're playing it. And the quality is good on cassette.
absolutely. Some of the stuff I
You know,
think, some of the higher end, like for Stay Dead, the band with me and Nikki, the
right,
drums, I couldn't get the hi-hats to sit well in the mix. It's very trebly. So when we put it on
right.
tape, that high-end character came down a little bit, and it sounds great on tape.
How about
Um,
that?
yeah.
Now, do you record at home? You have your own little studio to do all the music, or you go to a
I
studio and record?
I would love to go to a studio at some point, but I've been recording myself since the 90s on 4-track tape and on the computer. I still
Okay.
use 4-track tape and computers. I kind of mix them.
Oh, oh, that's nice. You get
Yeah.
a good sound off a tape.
Yeah, it's fun.
I
I
had
mean, yeah. Yeah, to what?
I had an ADAT machine, and that created some really nice sound with tape. I used that
Yeah.
for a while, like back in the what was it, early 2000s, late 1990s, I think.
You still have that
So,
machine?
yep, still have it. I may want to sell it
Amazing.
sometime. Who knows? So we'll see
You
what
can keep
happens.
using it. Keep using it.
So, what you're looking to do in the currently or in the future with some of your projects? You want to tell everybody?
Sure. Huh. Boy versus Ghost is currently a live band. So
Okay.
that is something that can be seen out and about playing shows. We don't play that often, but when we do, we try to make it like a really good show or like a festival or some sort of
Right.
showcase thing. Microscopic Death, I really would like to play more shows like we did at Crossroads,
Right.
or some basement shows in like New Brunswick or Philly. I feel like that's where that belongs. And Stay Dead is playing. We're playing a skate park in Trenton on August 3rd
Okay.
with a couple cool bands, and then we're going to be recording for a little bit. I think just like coming up, there's going to be a lot of recording for everything, a lot of repackaging, a lot of issuing new merch. So like, yeah, Stay Dead has some songs we got to finish up recording and put out. Microscopic Death, I have a whole other record I'd like to put out, and Boy vs. Ghost, there might be a reissue of an earlier record that got pulled from streaming services.
Oh, got it. Huh.
Years ago, there was a record called the Sierra Nevada Sessions, and it was some pretty good songs. It actually came out 10 years ago this year, and I vowed that I would re-release it. Upon starting this project to re-release it, a lot of the audio's messed up, so I'm trying to do what I can with it, but it might be a failed. We'll see. We shall see.
Okay. Now, do you do the guitar repair as just for friends, you know, or do you actually have a business that you want
I have a
to
business.
say here on? I could put in the description. It's up to you.
Sure. I have a business. It's called Booger Bear.
Okay.
Booger Bear Guitar Repair.
That's great.
And it's
Okay.
in my. If you go to my Instagram, it's there too.
Okay.
It's in my description.
Booger Bear. I'm going to put that in the description then.
Sure. Thank you so much. I do.
Of course.
I do guitar, electronics, some amplifier work, and also like orchestral strings, like violins and violas and cellos and stuff like that.
Oh, you do violin too?
I do
How
that
about
as
that?
my main job actually, which is
Oh, really?
that's where I got,
Violin
that's where I got
repair?
my luthier training through orchestral strings, but I've been doing guitars for a while.
How about that? Wow,
Yeah.
I never knew. That's great to hear. You're really talented with this. I got to tell you, your work was great.
Thank you.
Ray's been very happy, and you fixed my guitar really well. So everybody out there, anybody needs anything fixed, right here.
Cool. Very cool.
So going on to the future, you're going to be doing. You said that show August 3rd, and then anything else that could find you on your web. Do you have a website that shows the shows?
I basically just post everything on Instagram. So
Okay.
my Instagram is Boy vs. Ghost.
Okay.
And Microscopic Death stuff is also featured there, and then I'll post Stay Dead shows also. So basically, like the Boy vs. Ghost is the central hub.
Okay.
Because that's like my brand name, and everything else you'll find from that. Earlier I said into the mic, but when I had the mask on, I don't know if it came through. August 17th at Pino's in Highland Park.
Oh, okay. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, my good friend Joe Gallupo is running the punk rock flea market there again, and there's gonna be a lot of cool vendors, and there's like some short musical sets, and then usually a show at the end of the night, and I'll be doing Microscopic Death there.
And what time does that start? Around 8 o'clock, 9, or is it a late show?
That is an all day thing. That is typically from 12 to 8.
Oh, great.
All day, Saturday the 7th. I think it's Saturday the 17th.
And a lot of vendors there selling a lot of things. Okay, great.
So it really anything homemade. There's my friend Andrea sells records. There's like candles and jewelry and clothing and like all sorts of stuff.
Now you're based in North Jersey, or what area of New Jersey you're located?
I'm currently living in Westfield.
Oh, that's close. Yeah, I'm down in South Plainfield here.
That's right. Yeah.
So, that's pretty close. So, anybody needs guitar repair, they just you meet them. You have a shop, or they meet you somewhere. They drop off the instrument.
Yeah, I have a home shop.
Oh, okay.
Do everything here. Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time here, but man, it's been great to talk to you. And you got a lot of creativity, and I hope we can do some more shows together.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little tidbit. Yeah, Ray and I are working with the. I also do like the sound bath with the crystal bowls and all that. So
Okay.
Ray,
Oh yeah,
Ray and I are
that's right. You told me
Ray and
that.
I are trying to come up with like another act that would do that too. So
So,
really, it's just I want to if I could leave everybody with something real quick, like
sure.
I think it's I've tried my best over the years to create a career out of doing as many musical things as possible. I know that's not for everybody, but yeah, I was definitely living in a time where it was like not prosperous and not ideal to follow music.
That's
And
true.
at
You're
that
right.
point, arts were severely defunded. And I remember at my school in high school, we played a band concert at a competition and won and proved to the school that they should be putting more effort into the arts. And since I
Right.
left, they did put more money and got like knew this and knew that, knew all this stuff. And I thought to myself, you know what, this isn't a waste. Everyone kept telling me that.
Right.
And I love to be a living throwing it back in people's faces that do repair, do sound healing, do 3 different acts, and try to
Great.
support the scene and support other people and help release music and help record people and help the community grow and grow and grow, because it's become somewhat prosperous. It's become something that people can kind of look to invest in themselves in order to get a lot back and to put back into the community. I think it's been a beautiful kind of renaissance start.
I
Yeah.
hope so. You know, we need
I
more
think
people
so.
like you that still continue to play live and get in front of people and be, you know, not this artificial music, real music, people playing an instrument and it's
And what you guys
fantastic.
and what you guys do with Primitive Substance is very inspiring to me too. I ask Ray
Oh,
questions
I
all the time,
appreciate
and
that.
I think
Yeah, we're
it's
doing the
wonderful that
drum machine
I think it's
show
wonderful
now.
that
You
you
know,
guys
with that.
still you guys still value so much and that you're still encouraging and helping so many people, and I think that's wonderful. But thank
We're
you for that
trying.
as well.
And
And for
we
this
played last
podcast.
night at Sean. But yeah.
How did that
And
go?
this is
I've been
really helpful. I mean,
It went
it
well?
went great. The Sean Austin,
Awesome.
yeah, there was a lot of good acts, and we played our drum machine set. I had the MC 909 rolling, and then Ray was on bass, Brad on guitar. There's a couple other really good acts there. It was kind
Wonderful.
of like noise music. You know, you really got to be into that heavy noise music. I had earplugs on. It got pretty loud. In fact, one guy blew out the speaker at the show, at the place. He was so loud. It was at the meat locker, and he just blew it out. So the next act after that, they had to turn off one speaker to do
Okay.
the set,
It's in mono.
but still sounded good. Yep.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? That's the
That's
way it is.
wonderful.
You know, everybody got pretty loud there.
Yeah.
So
I'm
well,
glad it
hopefully we
went
can do
well.
some more shows together.
Great.
So
I look forward to it.
Justin, it was a pleasure talking to you, and
You as
I'll
well.
put
Thanks
all
so
the
much.
information in the description. Sure. And listen, have a great night and keep the music going.
You too, Dennis.
Take
Look forward to
care.
seeing you
See
soon.
ya.
Take care.
Bye bye now.
Bye.
Take it easy. See ya. Bye.